Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Michaelantonio Live. And I'm sorry to come to you tonight at a very pivotal time in the history of America. But I just wanted to say that, I'm not really going to talk too much about the transition and what's about to happen in this country and the dark times ahead. But I do want to talk about a side issue, an ancillary detriment, as it were. Something that we are all dealing with, regardless of who actually is in power in Washington. This is a problem that's been going on for a very long time. So let's get into this. Before we go anywhere further, please, I'd like you to check out my website, michaelantonio.biz, and you will find there a lot of news stories aggregated from different sources. It's the only place, really, that you should be getting your news because, like I said, it comes from different sources. You can get a lot of different information, and you won't be stuck in an echo chamber. So it's a great place. It's entertaining. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up with this, so check it out. Also, don't forget to click on my YouTube links there, and please subscribe. I'm also on Rumble. If you see this video on Rumble, please subscribe. I'm trying to get out more video content. I've been kind of quiet over the past month or so as it pertains to that. Busy during the holiday season, and what's been going on has really been... I've been in a lot of prayer, to be honest with you, and trying not to let my emotions take over. And sometimes it's better that you don't go live on air when, your emotions are charged. It's just better that way, I think. So, without any further ado, I wanted to talk about something tonight that is very heartbreaking. And it's something that I believe that a lot of conservatives have been able to avoid this because we oftentimes are in prayer. We seek out the help of God. And I think a lot of people on the other side, unfortunately, they don't have that. And so the only thing they do have is just raw emotion and just clinging to whatever they have on this earth. And that's why a lot of times you see more violence on the left. When they don't get what they want, they have nowhere to go. And frankly, we have everywhere to go. So please take comfort in that. Understand that. But I wanted to talk about something that is heartbreaking, and that is the relationships that we have with our friends and our family members who are on different sides of the aisle here, who have different belief systems than we do. And, it's okay to have different beliefs. It's okay to even argue about those because that in conservative politics, we believe that it's better to argue your case. It's better to exchange ideas because, let's be honest, the best ideas rise to the top. This works in business as well. When a group of people in a company get together to come up with ideas for their company, they will argue their points and bring the best ideas to the forefront. And, like I said, most of the time, the best idea wins the day. Because remember something, they're trying to get profit for their company. They're trying to, bring more success to their business. So this is the way it works in business. It's the way it works oftentimes with family members. At least it should. But lately, you've seen this shift towards the left wing, how they've been able to indoctrinate our children from day one. Because first of all, we're sending them to public schools who are indoctrination centers. Those places are not designed to give them really a well-rounded education. They're designed to teach them the doctrine of the left. That's what they're there for. But that being said, I am not in favor of any kind of hatred towards anyone who differs in viewpoint. I happen to believe very firmly that we are in a war that is of spiritual proportions. This thing is really much bigger than the flesh and bones, that we carry around with us and argue. I mean, it's obvious that that's what's going on. Now, I had made a video several months ago about this, so if you want to go check that video out, it's about the spiritual battle. In fact, I may link it in the description so you can go check that out. I really believe that's what's happening in this country. We have a spiritual battle right now that's going on, and it's at a fever pitch. I mean, this is very disturbing, to say the least. I'm very disturbed by all of this, what's going on. So, I wanted to read you something. No, I'm going to mention that this is going to break your heart. If you're kind of soft-hearted and don't want to have your heart broken tonight, maybe it's not best that you watch or that you listen to this. But I'm going to read this story, and I'm going to leave the name of the person anonymous because that's not really the point here. The point is I'm going to show you where we've come. And this is a story on Facebook. Oh, and by the way, I am suspended from Facebook for a month on trumped-up charges. And it has something to do with an article that I posted like a year and a half ago. And this is what they do. They come up with excuses as to why they need to get rid of you. So, but I can't read. I can read things on Facebook, but I can't actually post anything. So if you need to get a hold of me, you're going to have to find some other way. Twitter is a no-go. I've been suspended from Twitter for a while now anyway, so I'm gone from there. And I really don't care. I don't think anybody cares anymore about that site. That site is going bye-bye very soon because the business model is going to be trashed because of the way they've destroyed it. So let me go to this story. This is from a friend of mine who actually reposted from someone else. So it's kind of a third-party reading here. But like I said, it's a true story, and it's very heartbreaking. And then we'll discuss it when I'm done. So please just understand that I'm sure this may be going on with you. You may be feeling the same way. You may be experiencing the same exact thing. And I hope you're not. But I can tell you that I am. I've dealt with this in my family. A lot of hatred. And I would just say I want to condemn that hatred. It's okay to hate their ideas if they don't agree with it. If they are on the left and many of their belief systems are destructive, that's fine to hate what they believe in. But you know what? Our job as a conservative, and especially if you're a person of faith, if you're a Christian, you are to love that other person. And it's difficult, I know. It's okay to love them, but you have to warn them and tell them, look, you're treading on dangerous ground here. You are challenging the living God. And that is dangerous. But remember, we're to love them. We're not to hate them. And believe me, I am the first to tell you this is very difficult. I'm not going to preach to you without preaching to myself here. Because yes, I have fallen prey to that little hatred bug from time to time. And I'm going to tell you what, I've had to repent of it, and it is difficult. And anybody, I want to hear your stories. Please comment. Let me know in the comments section, or even just send me a little note. Let me know your story, because I'll even read your story. I'll tell your story as well. Tell me how you have faced this kind of hatred from family members or friends, and how it's torn your relationships apart at the seams. And I don't know if there's going to be a solution to this anytime soon. We're in really tough times in many ways. And we're going to have to be strong. We're going to have to cling to God and understand that our hope and our faith and everything that we are is dependent upon our Creator, upon God, and upon Jesus Christ. We have to remember that. I know it's difficult because I have trouble with it. So let me go ahead and read this story, and we'll discuss it a little bit at the end. And then I'll let you go on your merry way. Okay? Thanks. So here we go. I am reposting her words as a wake-up call for every conservative because liberals are going to use your loved ones as weapons against you. It's most devastating when it's your own child. So now this woman is telling the story now, in quotes. A big part of me died today. I am forever changed. My 30-year-old son called me a terrorist and a member of a cult for supporting Trump. The betrayal of an only child is heart-shattering. To be called a liar and a member of a cult and a terrorist and murderer for your political beliefs and values is shocking and hurt me to my very soul. I do not know this black-hearted, vile person who speaks so hatefully out of nowhere. At one point in the text, I actually said, "Who are you?" Grief and deepest wounds are cutting me profoundly. Traumatized is too small of a word for the pain. He was trying to murder my soul. I see the monster now. Sad to call someone you loved to infinity a monster, but that is what libs are. In a book on heaven, I once read there is a room where God has stored every tear. It was described as beautiful. I wonder if he has a room for broken hearts and crushed spirits. If he has those rooms, will I be in all three? Grief hurts. Mother's grief is death, where she still resides in a hollow shell. I feel dead today, dispirited, disconnected from life I created and nurtured, tossed into an eternal abyss of nothingness. Wow. That right there is very sad. And I gotta tell you, I've had friends that have said very bad things about me and to me, and I've lost friendships over my support for Trump and conservative causes. Absolutely. And for my faith. For my own faith in Jesus Christ, I have been rejected. But you know what Jesus said? Count that, what? A blessing. We are to rejoice because we are doing what God told us to do, which is to what? To proclaim the power and the divinity of Jesus Christ. So when we claim that Jesus Christ is God, guess what? We are going to be persecuted for that. Jesus was persecuted. He was murdered for it, for saying that he was in fact the Messiah. He was God. So if he went through it, we can go through, a little less than that. Okay, I'll say it that way. We can be persecuted. And I have no problem with it. You know what? It hurts at times, but I understand that I'm doing it because I've been commanded to do so, and I'll do it gladly for God. It's that important. And I will also say this. I've never had a child who has hated me like this. Now, yes, every parent goes through a time where their child resents them or is angry at them for a period of time. I understand that. I've had that with my son, where, there's anger involved. It happens, But I love my son, and my son loves me. And I've never had this issue because, my son believes the same things I believe in. He's a conservative. So he has the same beliefs. It's a little easier for me. But I know many of you are not in the same situation. So please, if you are dealing with this, I would love to pray for you. I would love to hear from you if you're willing to do it. I'm not going to force you to do this. I definitely don't want to compel you to do something that you're not willing to do. So if you want to tell your story, please tell your story in the comments or send me a private little note. And I'm going to pray for you. I'll pray for all of you. And I'll pray that there is some kind of resolution here. I think we're at the point where we've got to kind of let go and let God. That's very difficult. I realize with what has happened, especially in the past week or two, we were expecting a miracle. We were expecting so many good things to happen through all of this because we've heard the rumblings. We've heard the rumors and the prophecy. But I will tell you this. I don't know what's going to happen in the coming days. We have less than a week left, and we're going to be moving into another administration. But I would like to say, who knows? Maybe a miracle will happen, but I'm not going to look for that to complete me. I'm going to cling to God. I am going to trust God for the future. Because remember, we're not of this world. I want you all to remember this as we move forward. There's a scripture where Jesus says, "Love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." I want you to think about that. We're not supposed to be loving the world. Yes, we have to live here. There's things we have to do. We can have a good time once in a while and enjoy our lives to the best of our abilities. But you know what? In the end, this is not really our home. We're going somewhere else far better than this. And I got to tell you, that's what we should be looking at. We should be saying, Sometimes we're going to lose in this world because, remember, this world is ruled by demonic forces. God has allowed this because this is a big test for all of us. We were born into this world to be tested. And I know that sounds cruel, but, God wants us to love Him unconditionally. He wants us to love Him despite our struggles. He wants us to love Him out of our hearts and not out of some command that He gave, like a robot or a computer program, an algorithm. He doesn't want us to be programmed to love Him. He wants us to love Him of ourselves. And you know what? That's very difficult sometimes. That's a challenge and a half, isn't it? That's very, very difficult. But I'm going to tell you guys that it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Someday we're going to look back on this and we're going to see that all this evil that we're experiencing right now, all these things, they're tests for us. Are we going to stand fast and hold to our beliefs and stand for what's right and, cling to God? Cling to what was it that Barack Obama said about us? We cling to our Bibles and our guns, remember? Or was it our God and our guns? Whatever it was. I have no problem with that. I believe in self-defense. I believe in defending yourself. And I believe that the most important thing is God because He created us. Without Him, there's nothing. We don't even exist. So I want you all to remember that. I don't know what's going to happen in the coming days. I really don't. But I can tell you all a little warning before I go. I really want you guys to understand that you should not, I repeat, should not take up arms and try to be violent in this situation at all. I condemn violence. This is God's battle. Something else Jesus also said. What did He say? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. So remember something. All these things that are going on, first of all, it's a test for us. Second of all, we have to let God take care of some of these things because, in and of ourselves, even a small group of us, like those people that stormed the Capitol last week, stupid move. These people, first of all, would have never been able to accomplish what they wanted to. They just would never have been able to do it. They didn't have the firepower. They didn't have what it took anyway. But it was just stupid because, first of all, the president never commanded them to do so. Of course, that's a big lie. He never incited any kind of violence. In fact, he used the word peaceful. Remember, he said peacefully protest, peacefully and patriotically? Now, I don't know about you, but I think that word peacefully means non-violently. It means do what we're commanded to do when we have a problem with our government, when we want to redress our grievances. What do? We go and peacefully protest, and that is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. So we're protected in that. But again, it's got to be peaceful, and that's what I want from you in the coming days. You can read an article that I wrote recently on my webpage here, and that article was called "The Walls of Jericho." That article speaks about something that was done recently, and I think we can also do this in prayer. We can kind of do this virtually, so to speak. Do like a march around Washington in our minds, and we can pray, and we can ask God to shake up the foundations of Washington, okay, and bring back righteousness. Now, obviously that's not a literal thing. That is meant just as a figurative action on God's part to shake the hearts of these leaders and make them understand who God really is. I heard a minister recently say a prayer. I thought it was a beautiful prayer. He was talking about the tech giants, all of these CEOs of these big tech companies that are just running rampant over our rights. A lot of people wish for their destruction. And you know what? Trust me, I was there. I was very angry with these people. But you know what? I think God had to convict me and say, wait a minute, again, vengeance is mine. Second of all, this minister's prayer was that these people would essentially have a visitation from God, that God would show them just how glorious He is, so they could realize how inglorious they are, how terribly bad they are, and that they will repent before God and seek after Christ. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I can tell you what, maybe they can be convicted. Maybe they can be shaken in some way. But I also heard another prediction, or prophecy, as it were, from a minister, and I'm not going to use his name, because if this doesn't happen, I don't want something going back to this person, because, they didn't say it in a way where they said, "Thus saith the Lord, he gave me this prophecy," but they said it in a way where they had a dream, and they were told that something big is going to happen in California. Something to do with the San Andreas Fault. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I certainly don't wish that upon California or anybody that lives there. So, just like this minister said, by the way, that we should pray that that doesn't happen, that God would protect the people that live there. Just as Moses bargained with God. I'm sorry, not Moses. Yeah, see? You see how I can even get confused sometimes? Abraham bargained with God for the lives of the people in Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you remember that story? He came to God and said, "Hey, if there be 50 righteous, will you spare the city?" And he whittled God down to like 10 righteous people. He said, "If there's 10 good people in that city, will you spare it?" God said, "Sure, I'll do that for you." Sometimes we can actually ask of God. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to answer us, but we can ask him. We certainly can. Anyway, by the way, at the end, you can read the story if you want, but I'll just tell you, spoiler alert, they actually, there were not 10 righteous in those cities. So, it just goes to show you that I think God already knew that ahead of time. So he was like, okay, Abraham, yeah, we're going to find out. So I want you to realize that everything from here on out should be done in prayer. And remember, they say the fervent, effectual prayer of the righteous avails much. It's very effective. So we have to pray for this country, for America, and we have to understand that whatever happens. There's not a whole lot we as individuals can do except pray at this point, and understand that whatever does happen. Look, I'll be shocked. I'm going to tell you, I will be shocked out of my socks if something miraculous happens in the next few days. If God just turns everything around. Believe me, it's not that I don't want it. It's just that sometimes God allows evils to befall a nation for whatever reason that is. God knows it more than we know it. So we might come to a point where we say, "God, man, this seems like so much to handle." But you have to remember that we've been kind of spoiled. We've had it pretty good here in America, even though we've dealt with a few struggles. I mean, if you think about the history, I won't even go back to the beginning of human history. We'll just go to, since Christianity started. What did Christians go through against Rome? What did Rome do to Christians? Burned them at the stake, threw them to lions. I mean, these people weren't spared. There were Christians all over the world that were persecuted throughout the ages, and they were not spared. Their bodies, I should say, were not spared from the sword, from some terrible things. But, again, God, obviously, he does value the soul far more than he would value our bodies. I'm not saying he doesn't care about all of us. He does. But, there are things that happen for a reason, and we just don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know, because I really don't. But I will point out the hypocrisy and the lies and all these things that are going on. But I just wanted to relay that story that I had read earlier, just to tell you that, look, you're not alone if this is what you're going through. This is happening all over the country. Now, I will say that the people who are saying this, and usually it's younger people, the millennials, people born in the last 20 to 30 years, these people, they don't understand the importance of love. The love of a parent, first of all. That poor mother must feel like she has nothing left. Especially, they said it was an only child, so in other words, this is their only child. Their sole progeny. And this person is calling their own mother an evil person, a monster, a terrorist. I mean, I couldn't even believe hearing this. So, I'm praying for this woman. I feel horrible for this person. It's a terrible thing. And I'm hoping for peace, for reconciliation. I'm hoping that someday that child understands that they were brainwashed. They were taught lies by the left wing, by these indoctrinators, because that's what they do. One more thing before I go. I got to say this because this is important. Leftists do not, because they don't, believe, many of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them don't believe in God. And so they believe everything that they have is on this earth. Everything that they have or ever will have is on this earth. And so they just throw everything at what they want. They will do whatever it takes. And that means even throwing caution to the wind, cheating, lying, stealing, and we're seeing that. And that's another reason why I think that the concept of atheism, the non-belief in God or a higher power, is a very dangerous concept, because it allows people to believe that if this is all there is for us, if this is it, then they're going to try to do their best to lie and to cheat and to steal to the best of their ability to get what they want. And that means, and they're going to hate as well. They're going to hate their parent. And maybe this person that hated this mother, maybe this child thought they could manipulate their mother into relenting, into saying, oh no, I don't like Trump anymore. That's okay. I'll believe you. I believe you. I hate the man now. Well, we saw a lot of politicians did that. A lot of these rhinos, these Republicans in name only apparently, who began to cling to the Democrat Party after the Democrats have seized power. It seems like, oh, I changed my tune. I've seen the light. I love the darkness. Yeah, it's funny. They say they saw the light, but they really love the darkness. That's really what this is. But like I said, this is why people like that, who are atheistic, who don't have a belief in God, they believe in only this life, they say, look, now I want you to just kind of put yourself in their shoes for a minute. This is what they do. They say, yeah, I've only got a limited amount of time left on this earth. That's it. Let's say I get 100 years, and that's not conservative. That's a very liberal estimate, because most people don't. So let's say they get 100 years. I'll give them that. Let's grant them that. Let's say they're already 20 years old. Like, oh, I only got 80 years left. I mean, that's it. That's really, in the grand scheme, that's a short amount of time. I gotta make hay while the sun shines. I gotta make things happen here. And these other people over here are standing in my way. They're standing in my way, so I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get what I want. And a lot of the times, this pertains a lot, I'd say mostly, to those in power, because they want to retain their power. Because they believe, look, if this is all we got, I'm going to live it up, and I'm going to get what I can get. And a lot of the younger people are just brainwashed into believing their lies. And believe me, they come up with some whoppers, don't they? It's just craziness. So I just wanted to say that for you to understand that I'm not going to fall into the trap of hatred and self-pity. Look, I don't like what they're doing. I think what they're doing is evil. I think the left wing is very evil. I'm going to continue to call it out. I'm going to continue to identify where the evil is coming from and how bad it is, and every angle I can. However, as far as hatred, no. What I hate is the demons behind it. It's a spiritual battle, guys. That's what it is. That's why we have to pray. We have to pray. God wants us to do that. You see, this is, if God wanted to, he could probably just wipe everybody out and start over. He could just wipe out all of existence. He could destroy the demons themselves. Or, he could do whatever he wants, but he chose to do it this way because, again, he wants us, of our own free will, to love him. He's looking for a few good men and women. He's looking for the few good people who will love him purely through everything, through all these challenges. And again, he says, in the scripture, it says what? Wide is the road, and many there are which take it. And the wide road is easier. It's an easier road to be hateful all the time. It's much easier, but it's much more difficult to love people who hate you. Believe me, I've dealt with it. These people are really tortured and tormented. These leftists. They are. They're in a very bad way. So that's all I got to say. I don't want to belabor this. I'm sure you've listened to my voice enough tonight. So go ahead and please go to my website, michaelantonio.biz, and check out everything I have there. I have social media links there. You just click on the pictures and whatever it says. And, of course, all these aggregated stories for you. I do have a shop. You can shop here. You have many ways to get to my shop on my website. And I'm sorry that you have to look at Alec Baldwin's face for any length of time here. And I have a Parler link, but Parler's down for now, but it'll be back. So please don't give up on Parler just yet, guys. I do have a button for donating. I'm sure a lot of you look. I don't beg, guys. Okay, but it does make it easier for me to proclaim the word of the good people. So please check out my sponsors, and yeah, it's a pretty good site. But like I said, also go to my YouTube page, and as you can see, you can click on that, go to my YouTube, and you can subscribe, and of course hit that bell, guys. Hit that bell, because that's the way to do it. That's how you'll get all my videos. You can go to my Rumble as well and do that. And the way to find me on these sites is Michaelantonio. That's the way to find me. You shall, seek and ye shall find. So that's important. And I just wanted to say thanks for listening, and I hope you got something out of this. Please tell your stories. Tell me if you are dealing with these struggles with friends and family members. It's tearing people apart. It really is. I have people that will not speak to me. They will not speak to me because I support Donald Trump. And by the way, I still support him. I don't know what's going to happen in the coming days, but I support what he does and what he did because he was used of God. God chose him, and God's still going to use him to do mighty things. It's not over, guys. It doesn't matter if he is not going to be in the White House. And I know a lot of you will disagree with me. Yes, he's going to be there. Something's going to happen. Look, I don't know. I don't know it. I haven't gotten that confirmation from our Creator, okay? But maybe so. And, like I said, I'm not against the thought of it. I certainly, I hope so. But I'm going to trust God no matter what happens, okay? And I know it's difficult, guys. Please, just keep your eyes focused on God. Everything will be okay. We're going to get through this, guys. God is amazing. God created us, and he can do anything, and he will get us through this. Just remember, this is a test for us. This is a test for us to see, for God to see, who's going to love me purely? Who's going to trust in me? It's easy to trust in God, or in anybody for that matter, when times are going good. Everybody's getting along, But all of a sudden we get a little tough time and everybody's fighting with each other. You notice that now you even got conservatives fighting other conservatives. That's not what we need to be doing right now, guys. Okay? So please, let's love each other, do the best we can with this. And I want your ideas too. Tell me how we can cope in the coming months and years. How, I really would love to hear some ideas. What you have to say, and even if you disagree with me, telling me why you disagree with me in the comments, let me know why you do, and I'll get to the comments. I will respond. So please do, it's just, man, I know times are tough, guys, but that's good enough for tonight, and you'll hear from me very soon. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Bye now.